my life began a little bit different from most people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I got to learn myself. May I tell that part? I would rather be sitting in my rocking chair thinking of where I have been than to sit there thinking I never got anywhere. My name is Victoria Smith. Victoria Lee. Everybody back in my time had the middle name of Lee or Marie or Ann.
Okay. And where are you from?
I'm from Baltimore. I was born here in Baltimore, Maryland on Madison Avenue. Up until I was 6 years old, I was taught that most people, black people, were ugly, they were stupid, they were dumb, they couldn't learn. There was not a good adjective for a black person. But after I got to be 6, I began to look around and think about things. And my mother was telling me when I was a little kid, be proud, as I said, of your little black self. And that made me raise my shoulders and bring up my head and be very happy. Because we can begin to feel very good about ourselves because we didn't send an invitation to say we wanted to be this or we wanted to be that. We were just found here. I realized that sometimes happiness strikes through me just like pain may hit other people and they say, oh, pain, that leg hurt. Happiness comes through me like it strikes through me. And then I begin to wonder what triggers that happy feeling. I know that it's endorphins in your brain that make you feel good, but what triggers that feeling coming to feel good? I found out whenever I talk to my 2 children, my son Victor and Carl, I feel happy. I feel happy when I go in the park and people talk. If I walk there so often, people start speaking to you because they see you. The dogs remember people, let me tell you, even better than people sometimes. Because the dogs know you by your smell. But when I begin to see that, I can see then how you get around people so that if you live alone and you get out and people are talking to you, that makes you feel good and that gives you a connection with the outside. Yeah.
And has the pandemic or COVID affected your life in any way?
Yes, I have not traveled. And I was by now, May 28th of 2020, I think it was, or 2019. Oh, there's some stuff. My oldest granddaughter would have graduated from college. And we were all going to meet there for a graduation in Boston. We couldn't go because the lockdown happened. So it must have been 2020 because the lockdown came and nobody was allowed to. They weren't doing any traveling or anything then. And I think they canceled the graduation and sent them their diplomas by mail. Now, I felt kind of for those people who had worked for 4 years, and couldn't have a ceremony. But we were all going to meet them on May 28th. I still remember that. And that was going to be, I would have traveled then. So I have not traveled anywhere since then.
How does that make you feel?
On the one hand, it makes me feel good. On the other hand, I like my travel. And one of the reasons I feel, I miss traveling. And on the other thing, I knew I was getting old. I couldn't even kind of pull my luggage. It was heavy. So there'd be a very good business for somebody who was business-minded to start a business where they would take older people, the older person would pay them, they would take the older person traveling. Because the older person, I realize now, my kids told me that they don't want me to travel alone anymore. My son told me that about 6 or 8 months ago. He said, Mom, I don't want you to travel alone anymore. And I'm happy and I respect that because I can no longer carry the bags and stuff like that. Oh, and I forgot to mention something my happiness comes from too, besides my 2 children and my family. My happiness comes from music.
Who's your favorite artist?
Well, I don't know. I like everything.
Or your favorite song?
My favorite songs are some of the You know, my favorite person was Nat Cole. Now, most of you didn't know Nat King Cole, but I grew up with him. So some of the songs, if you can remember that Nat Cole used to sing, those were my favorite songs, those ballads that he would sing. And he came, another reason why I think I've grown accustomed to him, he came to Douglas High School, and Nat Cole came. We fought, not fist fight, but we fought to sit in the first row. The little old lady won that first row too. She sat in that first row, so we could look up at Nat Cole and just think, to each of us, he was singing to us. And those ballads, if you asked your parents or people that knew him, some of the songs that Nat Cole sung just meant home. They hit us. And maybe it was because we were young enough to enjoy those songs and to enjoy the kind of ballads they had then.
Let's see if I can hear some.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up a Nat. You said his name is Nat King Cole?
Nat King Cole.
Let's see.
They were the King Cole Trio. I don't want to ruin my horrible voice.